Lined up to be filmed by media, these are some of the men Haitian police accuse of assassinating President Jovenel Moïse. According to authorities, a 28-person hit squad made up of 26 Colombians and 2 Haitian Americans carried out the killing. They said 3 of them died in a shootout and 8 more were still on the run.
We captured 17 people, among them 15 Colombians. We identified them with their Colombian passports. There are 2 Haitian Americans among those captured.
Colombia's defense minister said 6 of the alleged assailants appeared to be former army members, and Bogota was cooperating with the investigation. Outside the police station that's housing the suspects, locals shouted angry slogans and burned several cars thought to belong to them.
"25 years later, Joe Lichner still vividly remembers that call. His wife Pam with her daughters Shannon and Katie checking in just before boarding TWA Flight 800.
I could hear the girls running and enjoying themselves and having a great time, and they were so excited to be going to Paris. That is a thought that will always live with me.
Their flight from JFK exploded shortly after takeoff, crashing into the Atlantic. All 230 people on board lost. The 4-year investigation that followed was unprecedented, the NTSB determining the crash was likely the result of an electrical spark that set off fumes in the center fuel tank. Investigators recovered 95% of the plane's wreckage, first reconstructing it at a hangar in New York, then transporting it to the NTSB training center in Northern Virginia. The NTSB says out of respect for the families, the reconstruction will soon be dismantled and then destroyed.
Amid escalating tensions in the Taiwan Strait and yet another intrusion by Beijing, a Chinese warplane entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone. This marks the 4th Chinese incursion in Taiwan this month. According to the Ministry of National Defense, a single People's Liberation Army Air Force plane flew into the southwest corner of Taiwan's air defense identification zone, and in response, Taiwan sent aircraft, broadcast radio warnings, and had air defense missile system track this aircraft. Now, Taiwan has termed the incursion by Chinese warplanes into Taiwan airspace as unnecessary and thoughtless.
So there'll be no spectators at Olympic events in Tokyo. The organizing committee made the decision after Japan declared a state of emergency in the capital as coronavirus cases there surge. The policy for venues outside Tokyo will be decided on a case-by-case basis. Medical experts have criticized plans to go ahead with the games. The government and organizers say they're doing everything they can to ensure safe Olympic and Paralympic Games.
The nascent ties between Israel and the United Arab Emirates under renewed stress as the United States' Biden administration falls behind on its commitments. In fact, it appears that so far, any and all promises by Biden's White House to uphold the Abraham Accords have been little more than lip service. And an investigation by Globe's Israel revealing some of the reasons why. For starters, the Abraham Fund, which was operational by October 2020, was intended to inject billions of dollars into developing economic cooperations between the parties to the deal. But D.C. has yet to allocate any money for the fund from its budget. Additionally, shortly after Biden's swearing in January, the head of the Abraham Fund, Rabbi Ariel Lightstone, resigned, and a replacement has yet to be appointed. Moreover, senior White House and Israeli sources are both confirming to Globes that the fund has now been frozen indefinitely from the United States' end, with U.S. reports explaining that the White House is more interested in pushing the diplomatic dimensions of the deal.
Outside UN headquarters, Ethiopian protesters gathered. They didn't want this meeting to take place. To demonstrate that point, unlike Egypt and Sudan, Ethiopia didn't send its foreign minister to this meeting. Instead, it was represented by its water and irrigation minister. It was Sudan and Egypt that had demanded this meeting, saying the fact that Ethiopia is again filling the dam amounts to a threat to international peace and security. Clearly, growing tension between three countries, two of them with a population of more than 100 million people and another with a population of more than 40 million, is very concerning. But the Security Council is unlikely to take any direct action. Diplomats tell me they hope this meeting will force the three countries back into African Union-led mediation.